All right. Settle down, everyone. I know that you all had some good refreshments and had some tea. We are behind schedule a little bit, so we'll quickly get on to the next segment. So it's a panel discussion. And I'll invite the moderator very quickly. He's Eranda Adikari, Vice President, Data and AI at H1 Private Limited.
Good evening, all. It's a pleasure to welcome all of you for the panel discussions today. We are going through a timely topic. Our topics that we are planning to discuss today is how tech leaders are refining innovations with Agile and AI. This is a kind of a hot topic. These days, personally, I also observe, although irrespective of whether it's Sri Lanka or abroad, a lot of tech companies, they are trying to leverage AI, but they are facing a lot of challenges. But if they try to go through the standard the software development cycles, they face a lot of challenges. They won't be able to show the ROI for the management. So the AI and Agile both go in hand. That's there's a close relationship with the AI and the Agile. So today's discussions, we invited 3 gentlemen who are kind of industry leaders on today. So first of all, I would like to call upon Sameera Abeysinghe. He is the CTO of OREL IT. Sameera, you can take the seats here. And then the Gayath, Ratnayaka, his CTO PickMe. And the Nisal Mihiranga. He is the head of AI at Zone 24/7. So, gentlemen, I am welcoming you all for the discussions today. So, to start off the discussion, I know all of you have the experience. You all have the more than 2 decades of experience, most of you all, on the same domain, working with the data. Now, you all are working with the AI. So, a lot of I know there are a lot of challenges across the organizations. I believe even when it comes to the organizations, they're trying to invest for the AI, but the challenge is when they ask for the AI from the management, for the investment from the management, it's very difficult to convince the ROI. So that's one of the challenge faced by most of the technical guys. So so when it comes to the first questions, I would like to ask from Gayath. When it comes to when you are leveraging AI to enhance the decisions making and operational agility, how you do in your organizations? I am sure the PickMe is one of the organizations in Sri Lanka. They do a lot of new innovations, and even it's very close to all of us. So I would like to ask from the Gayath the small answer about the tech innovations.
Hi, good evening all. So, PickMe, speed and agility is really important for us to stay ahead of the game. So, especially competing with a world-class player. So, being proactive rather than being reactive as to how the business operates matters a lot. So, I'll take an example and try to walk through how AI actually helps us stay ahead of the game. So one thing we do is we forecast the kind of demand we'll have, both strategically, how much demand we'll have next month for different geos, how much demand we'll have for example, next week, tomorrow, in the next hour. So it's both strategic as well as tactical. So we do predict the kind of demand and then get our ops teams to make sure they bring the required supply or the drivers in, both from onboarding point of view, strategically bringing the kind of driver numbers we need for the next month, next week, and at the same time doing it more real time. So we'll know tomorrow what sort of driver supply we need in different geos, and therefore get the kind of supply that we need to cater to that demand. So predicting supply is one, and then predicting demand is one, and then sort of forecasting what sort of supply will be the optimal level of supply that we can have in order for us to have the levels of utilization for the drivers that's useful so that they are earning well. At the same time, we cater to the demand and we meet enough demand so most of you guys find a ride home or ride to work. So those are two main points that we do. So predicting the demand and supply so we can stay ahead of the competition. Because it's a crunch for supply, so us and competition both will go for the same supply that's out there. So one of the levers we use in making sure we have the right supply is to incentivize drivers. So making sure also we don't under-incentivize as well as not to over-incentivize so we lose a lot of money. So that's also part of how we use AI. So we'll use AI to actually personalize the kind of incentives we want to set so we get the right drivers going into the right areas. So this sort of near real time as well as long-term prediction in terms of demand supply makes us more agile, more proactive, so that we keep a good competition going with the competitor we have here locally.
Okay, so great to hear that. I know you all kind of, I believe in Sri Lanka you are the market leader right now, so that I think you all are using these techniques that might be the reasons behind this, the getting the competitive advantage. Okay.
Yeah, I think a lot of people feel because we are local, we are ahead in the market.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of tech and adaptation that goes on behind the scenes that actually makes us be competitive.
Yeah, yeah. Right. So I would like to go to Nisal because you are coming from the software organizations where I do a lot of offshore developments, right? So now, but I believe you are doing some certain stuff in local market as well. But now, when it comes to your challenges, now when you're scaling AI-driven organizations, what are the key challenges now? It's for the customers, even as a supplier or a software developer. At the same time, if you see an organization, they look for the AI solutions. What are the challenges you observe?
Yeah, first of all, thank you for having me here in this panel. When we talk about the challenges we see, I would like to take two aspects of it. One is for us as a software vendors or a software development company, what are the challenges we see in terms of the development or implement the AI applications. So actually we are a company doing AI for a long time. So we have a lot of computer vision based implementations. So we are not a company we just started alongside with the Gen AI hype. So even before we do a lot of classical AI, the traditional AI implementations as well. So initially, especially when we are now, we all know that we are why the lot of attention came to the AI is with the hype of the ChatGPT and the similar kind of generative AI applications. So initially, so bit of challenging. We identified that challenges of justify the ROI because you know that the large language models are too deep. So we are not training these models. So these models are already there. So we had to use it. That is called inferencing. So in the production environment, so the cost is a bit high. So that way we find sometimes challenging to justify and draw ROI and convince our customers, right? So now the good thing is now you see that a lot of more advanced models arriving with a lower cost. So if you can see, so there are models, very large models like maybe 700 billion parameters, larger models. Now we can see models which even we can install in our laptop or computer, right? So along with that, we see that a lot of different type of models, image processing models, multi-models, and the reasoning models where the model can think just like a human, like we do. So with these things, so the cost is getting lower. That's a good side of it, I would see, because that we can, as an organization, not just us, even you all, you can build AI solutions to your customers with that. Other side, so if we take Gen AI or any chatbot or any application as an in general, so I see some challenges with the adoption. So because you know that I'm not sure how many of you are using like daily basis, but for me, I'm using ChatGPT or any other applications like Microsoft Copilot. Maybe if you are using Google productivity tools, maybe Google Gemini, if it is a Microsoft Copilot. So those things, how well we are using for our day-to-day activities and make it our outcomes better. So that's where I see that still there are some gaps even within our company also, even if I'm talking to rest of the other colleagues, so I see some gaps because even the software engineers, if we take an example, so they find some difficult to see the true value of it. But if you know well how to do the prompting, how to tell the AI to what exactly you need to be done, if you can explain properly, I think it's a good chance that you can get the maximum of AI to your day-to-day work. Maybe you're a business analyst who is doing the business requirement document. So if it took maybe 5 days before without AI, I think with the AI, I think we should be able to complete it within 2 days. It's rather a challenge. I think it's a kind of an assistant AI we have to use. That's where I think we can increase the rate of the adoption. Thank you.
Yeah. So it's kind of mainly the cost is one factor and the adaptations what you discuss. So even I just to adding some points to Nisal. So now when we develop a chatbot, imagine you develop a chatbot for certain use case for the IT help desk or even for the certain for your websites. So sometimes when you calculate the cost, sometimes the cost per one inquiry can be, if you convert into LKR, initially I can remember, even for a certain solution we develop, for a certain one inquiry, it's more than 150 rupees. But actually it's not kind of a worth solution when it comes to the execution. So, but if you select the right model, I'm sure you can reduce it to 5 rupees. So there are a lot of options available right now. So that's what I believe Nisal explained. Finding the correct model will be one of the area that you should focus when you develop the Gen AI solutions, and even the adaptation side, you have to look the proper way to manage it.
We used to say that the currency of the in the AI world is how much of money or dollar value we have to pay for the 1 million tokens. That's where I think the cost is boiling down. So we see a lot of more advanced capable models with the lower cost now. If you see that, I think 2 months ago there's a DeepSeek Chinese company, they came up with a model very, the cost wise is a very lower cost. And also at the same time very advanced.
Yeah. So even I face the same experience now. Even Gemini, they have kind of a free tier. You can use it to do a lot of stuff. Yeah.
How many of you are here from the software background? Like maybe you know, maybe not known that GitHub Copilot is free now. So you can use that for the development if you are a software engineer. But even for I think the Copilot also certain level it's free, right? So you can use for the any other productivity work like documentation and other stuff.
So then I'll move it to Sameera. He's from the OREL IT. So I think your backgrounds, you all are mainly from the BPO sites, then came to the lot of separate divisions running for the R&D. We do a lot of optimizations, reduce the cost, optimizing, increasing the profit, a lot of stuff he do. So the questions I would like to raise to Sameera. So now when it comes to the mindset shift, from the transitions from traditional the IT leaderships to the AI-driven, the Agile approach. So what are the steps that you will have followed? I'm sure you will have done a lot of things because without doing the proper transformations, it's very difficult to retain in this business. So can you elaborate the few points to the audience what you will have to do and what are the potential use cases that might be relevant?
Thank you, Eranda. So in terms of how the mindset should change, it goes in two ways. One, if you take an organization, even the top managers has to understand and have a sort of like a acceptable mindset to get these AI tools into your organization. At the same time, the people who are using them, the second level or the third level, also has to understand and to use these tools. For example, let's say, as from my understanding, many of the audience today is from IT companies. So I had a discussion with one of my friends about 1 month back. He explained how his total development time was reduced almost by 50% because he was using AI tools. And if you take like a position where Nisal mentioned on a BA aspect, business analyst aspect, nowadays, if you take about few years back, maybe 5-6 years back, what a main function of a BA analyst, even if you go now to a university and try to hire an associate or intern level BA, the skills that person is showing is basically in terms of documentation. Right? They go to a meeting, they will have the client discussions, and they nicely, to a structured manner, create document, SRS, or whatever the document, and they give it. And it might take about 3 days, 4 days, 5 days to create these documents, nicely create the workflows, user diagrams, whatever the documents you need. But the reality is you don't need now a person to do that, right? You go to a meeting, you record that meeting, put it to, I understand the privacy concern, but let's put that aside a little. You put it to ChatGPT, in about 5-10 minutes, you can get the SOW or the feature list, and you use tools like UML diagram creations. You can get all of these documents done in about 1 day's time, and maybe spend few hours to validate it, but maximum 1 or 2 days to work, you can get everything done. So one thing I have to understand even the users have to understand that and should produce that output as fast as you can. Not like trying to I need 5 days to get it done. That person uses ChatGPT and get the document work done in about 2 days and just leisurely spend those 3 days. So that's from the lower levels people have to understand and produce the result faster. At the same time, if you go to the higher management, from their point of view also, they have to understand the capabilities of AI and have to accept this. So when it comes to accepting these capabilities, the privacy concern comes into play, right? So I understand if you go to a meeting and putting that to a public ChatGPT and getting it done, people might say, oh, we can't give out these details like that. But there are ways to mitigate that. Either you can build your own kind of like a ChatGPT version in-house, or use a paid version. I know that all the cloud providers, hypersecurity, AWS, Microsoft have their own versions. Nisal mentioned about Copilot. So the main point we have to understand is AI is already here, and we should never think it's a bad thing and put it aside. We have to use it to our advantage, right? Otherwise, the companies who are using it will definitely go ahead. I can give you a few examples. We were developing sort of like a, product identification model. We have been developing it for about 6 years now. We are working with a lot of clients on that area. And last year, I met a company in Sweden, where they have developed the entire thing in about 2 years of time. The difference was they were using certain kind of pre-built models where we spent about 3 or 4 years developing our own. And so even like if you take OpenAI, they used about around 10 years to get the entire model out to the market, whereas there are nowadays many models that has come in very quickly. Yes, they were using knowledge that maybe OpenAI, actually there was an accusation from OpenAI, but they use distillation to develop the DeepSeek. But the reality is, if whatever the technology you have, how advanced your company is, if you are not ready to accept this and use it, you will fall back. So the mindset has to be set in both all the levels in the company, but you have to also know how to use it responsibly. Like there was an issue where I think it was from Facebook. I can't remember the exact company. I think it's from Facebook, where they ban all use of all OpenAI ChatGPT models in the company because one of the developers has put the entire code onto the platform and try to find bugs in the system. But ended up this code base gone to the became a public knowledge, and someone has tried it out. So there was an issue like that. So they put a ban. This happened somewhere around beginning of last year, if I'm not mistaken. So yes, we have to use it. We have to use it for advantage. At the same time, we have to take the responsibility in using it. You can generate a code base using ChatGPT, but if you can't understand it, if you can't develop that code base on your own time, by yourself, you should never put it to the code also. Like I'm telling everyone to use ChatGPT. Tomorrow, if your associates might generate certain code base using online tools, that is an issue. But the associate level people have to understand, yes, I can use this, I can leverage this, I can get the work done quickly. But if that person is unable to understand this concept or the developed code, develop that basic code by himself without using any tools, he should never put into the, to the actual code base also. Otherwise, once if you get a bug or any changes you need to do, there's going to be an issue. So point is, yes, we have to use it. There has to be a mindset change to use that, accept it, but there has to have a very, very big responsibility in using them also.
Yes, Sameera, even any organizations, if they wanted to deploy any AI solutions, taking the business user buying, identify the proper use case, and even the convince the value additions might be quite useful when it comes to if you want to get the right results.
I can add one point, Eranda, to that. Last year we did a small exercise. When all of this ChatGPT came out, I played around a little bit, and we did a small exercise for our developers. We got from all the areas, AI, BA, PMs, QAs, UI designers, PMs, everyone to a session. And we gave a very, very simple use case. I think it was developed some kind of taxi model or something, application or something like that. So we told the entire team, there was about 20 people. We gave 1 hour for them. And we told them, at the end of the 1 hour, I need a SOW, I need a UI, basic UI prototype, I need a database system architecture, I need a QA plan, I need the use cases. So actually they developed and they showcased that. So after that, there were certain other sessions that we did. At the end of the entire program, we did another session where we divided this team into 2 teams. Initially, it was all the 20 people in one team. And now we divided them into teams of 10, where each team have at least one person from every area, UI to AI, PM, software development, every area. And we gave them another use case, but we gave them half the time. But they produced the exact same result, all the diagrams, the UI to SOW to architecture diagram to test cases, everything was done. So the idea was to show them how they can, use these tools. There's an issue of the privacy concern, but this was a test that we did last year. And actually, after that, we saw that they were much more open to use this and produce the results much more faster.
Yeah. So one of the area, I think all of us should focus is the prompt engineering. So where the people, because it's very simple stuff, but everyone should understand. Then I believe that whatever the results is, especially when it comes to Gen AI, the results and output will be more powerful and more specific. So moving into Gayath, so even from the PickMe perspective, you can I would like to hear. So from the leadership culture, how they embrace the both agile methodologies and AI-driven the transformations in the organization. How?
Sure, Eranda. So one of the things we have like very good alignment is on what we intend to deliver for the next year in terms of roadmap. So AI is essentially a part of the roadmap itself. So we have like very good alignment going from the board level to the C levels, down to like each and every individual like in teams as to like what we want to achieve. So optimization, increasing productivity, those are like the main like themes that always come out. So we first like create the alignment in the leadership level that AI is not just a tech thing. So it's all to do with like how we get better at the business, both like from going for say new business and optimizing like existing business and enhancing. So business, the operation teams, the tech teams, support teams, everyone needs to be like really aligned. So that's one of the things we actually like do in how we do our like roadmap exercises. So one of the like, other things we've done, at least like at PickMe, is to create this action group. So there's a like AI action group that's created that has like all these elements in there, not just at like leadership level, but at execution level as well. So we try to get like everyone aligned so that like AI is something that we use both for business enhancements as well as like internal productivity. Where like agility comes in, or like agile techniques come in, is we've made sure like AI delivery is also iterative. So we start very small, foundational model. LLMs don't like solve everything. So try things out end to end, learn from it. Make sure we iteratively bring sophistication in. So that's one of the like alignments we have with the big data team as well. Another bit that we've also done is to make sure we get a end-to-end product increment in by making sure we run data engineering and data science like all together as a single team. So that also like helps us bring things out faster, fail fast, so we can like pivot to the like next thing. So in terms of like productivity, also like one of the like questions that we get asked by the board all the time is, okay, how do you increase productivity? You have this headcount with the same headcount, bringing in AI, what you can like do better and do better like lesser cost. So on the engineering side itself, like there's a lot of like use when it comes to the requirements itself, like RBS and QA also like use AI to create acceptance criteria for requirements. Developers generate code. DevOps team to like generate infrastructure as code to building pipelines. Then we have a like big estate when it comes to the amount of like servers we use on any given day. So FinOps becomes a big part of our like life too. So run our operation as like lean as possible, use the least amount of resources possible, use the right discounts from the cloud provider so we get the like best value for money in terms of what we use as resources. So using AI agents like with FinOps, suggestions, prompting all sorts of questions to like drive the FinOps agents mad, so we get the best out of them. So that's another like area we've like really gotten the teams to use AI on. So I think creating that alignment really matters, so that AI is not a tech thing, especially like in an organization like ours where we run a business and we provide the technology for that business as well.
True, Gayath, so I believe the relationship with the senior managements, understanding the powerful of the return of investments, those are kind of key successes when it comes to the deployment. So I would like to raise another question from Sameera. So now when it comes to the today all the solutions, lot of stuff running on the cloud, or even do a lot of even from your lot of on-prem solutions as well, even from the GenAI perspective. But we need to lay the foundations for the future-ready the solutions. My questions to you, Sameera, what architectural decisions have you been considered when ensuring your AI systems scale effectively? How you make sure you design a scalable solutions for the business? Because sometimes the issue is you will develop solutions where the output or when you try to scale it is not possible. But how you consider that scalable the aspects of into the solutions?
So Eranga, that actually it's somewhat similar to how you scale a normal software application. Like, there are containerization, microservices. When you think about the architecture, there's not much difference. But the difference is what should be the outcome of that. For example, let's say you're developing some kind of model that needs to do, let's say, language identification, right? So if there are multiple languages in the voice, can we do one big model that have all the knowledge, or can we have something like a separate model for separate languages, right? So the question how you developed your AI model must be based on the requirement actually. Yes, we can use things like what I mentioned, containerization, and maybe if there's something related to large number of data, if it's an analytical model, we can have a maybe on-prem server for the data where the cost might go lower, and the services run on the cloud. So when you do the scaling and what Gayath mentioned about FinOps, all these things has to taken into consideration. But the ultimate thing, if it's how you gonna scale up the system, I would say the idea should be to have a very, very small models targeting on specific task. But then again, if you try to develop an AI model like that, again, there might be a factor where the cost might goes up because, I don't know, depending on the architecture, of course, but you might have different containers. A lot of containers might come in, and you need to think about all of these scaling up. The APIs might have a large number that you need to handle. So it will depending on the cost of that you are willing to pay, and the response time, of course, right? But I believe the smaller the model, it's easier to scale, easier to handle, easier to maintain. Because any AI model you take, you create an AI model, it will not run without any issues for about 10 years. Obviously, you will need to refine it, you will need to modify that, you need to make advancement on that. So you will have to be able to change or accommodate change. So the larger your application or the model becomes, it's hard to keep up with it. So the smaller models or the smaller components is easier to manage, easier to understand. At the same time, when you think about scalability, documentation matters. I mean, if there are people who is in the company for a very long time, yes, that's good. But nowadays, it might not be the case. So you need to have certain kind of documentation. And the people who are coming into the development as new people will need to go through this documentation. So if there's a huge document, they might be reluctant to, go through that. But if you have small components, it's easier to read, easier to understand. So my view is, if you could try to break it down to small components and try to develop that in that way. But at the same time, to decision to what level you should break it down will depend on the speed, the response speed, and the cost, infrastructure cost.
Okay, yeah. So how you can divide the structure, at the same time how you can manage the cost is some of the factors that you should consider.
But it's going to be somewhat of case-by-case situation. I mean, no matter how the cost or the speed or anything matters, there might be a system you cannot break it down, and there might be systems that you can break it down. So I don't think you can straight away say, no, every system we do, we are going to break it down to smaller components, or everything we do, we will not break it down to components. I don't think you can outright say that. It will be case by case, but my personal view is the more refined and compact and small your model is, it's easier to maintain and scale up.
Yeah. So I'll move into another important sections where we are talking about the responsible and ethical AI and even the compliance part of the AI. So there are some of the colleagues from the banking sector. I know there are a lot of, even from the Sri Lankan context, so there are certain data protections law, even from the banking, the central bank impose certain regulations. So a lot of the restrictions, right? So I would like to go to Nisal because he's mainly working from the US to Europe to different clients, right? So the questions I would like to hear from you, Nisal, when do you maintain the stakeholders' trust and deploying AI-driven solutions? Because when you design the stuff, how you maintain the data and privacy? Have you considered the aspects of the privacy?
Right. If you take AI application as an example, so there are two components that we have to take care of when it comes to the data protection and the privacy. Because one is how we implement the large language model or the Gen AI model. So you know that most popular approach is to use managed service, like maybe partner with the cloud vendor and where these models are hosted, where we can use that. So I will take example in how we manage at 727. So a year ago we built an AI agent system. So we work with the Microsoft where they clearly mention and how they do is they in their licensing agreement, service agreement is clearly mentioned that so they are not using our data or our customers' data to share with the third parties or even using for their own benefit, like optimize or fine-tune their Copilot-like models, right? So I believe that the other cloud vendors like AWS, Google also following the same approach, where this how the models deployed and how they protect the customers' personal and privacy. The other side is, so if you are building an application, you have seen that if you compare last year or the before year with the currently how the ChatGPT works, so it's more personalized, right? So it can remember what we have discussed or chat maybe a few days ago, and we can continue the same conversation, and it can give the more personal response. So the same approach we can do. So in that case, we have to collect the user's data, right? So I think the way we have to handle is we need to be a bit of upfront and say that So for these features, so we need to collect your data. This is how we are managing the data. This is how we are processing, and this is how we are storing the data. So in that case, I think we can manage the situation. And also when it comes to chatbots, because you know that the chatbots or the chat application is the modern interface for the software, right? So now it's becoming very popular, and it's kind of it's a mandatory and the tool for any software new application. So the customers are asking, so we need these features to be there and all, where they can make their work productive, and they can run their business operations more productively. So I think if we can be upfront a little bit and clearly mention how we manage, and this is how we manage our data, so I think we should be good. The other side is if we have enough investment and all, we can think of deploying our large language models and the AI models on-premise, where also we can make sure that the data is protected, which is not leaving from the organization tenant.
I would like to hear from the Gayath as well, the related to the now, since you are working with the even you are dealing with a lot of privacy data even here, the people's travels movement, people's PII data, so a lot of stuff you all do. So when it comes to the PickMe, right? So my questions, have you make sure whatever the model, maybe you develop a model to the segment the customers, right? So how you make sure it's aligned with ethical guidelines and the data privacy regulations? How you do it?
So like at PickMe, we do like quite a bit of like personalization. So that's like one of the main ways we can like drive usage. So help people in terms of experience. So you can book a ride faster, order your like food faster, if we can like suggest things better, like from search results to how you like see drop recommendations, pickup recommendations to food recommendations. So we have to crunch through like a lot of data to make sure we get these recommendations to you. So I'll talk a bit about like how ethics come into play and how we sort of like guard against that, so that we don't do anything like unethical. So one of the things is fairness, right? So what I spoke about earlier also, how we do demand and supply predictions. So if we just optimize for profitability, if we bring like all the like supply to Colombo in the evening, that's it. It's very simple, right? So we'll have to like make sure the models work fairly and make sure demand in like all areas are covered by the supply we actually bring in. So we'll test our like models so that we make sure it's fair. So it's not just like done just to like be fair, but it's also like how we want to do business. So we just don't want to like be doing business in Colombo. We want us to be like working pretty well like around the country. So it's not just fairness, but fairness plays a like big part there. We also like in terms of incentivizing, the model shouldn't incentivize just the drivers who will be like doing the like best number of like trips a day. So we have to make sure that's also like fairly distributed. One, making sure we don't over and under incentivize, but at the same time like being fair by the drivers. The other area is let's say transparency, right? So how we do our transparency as well as explainability maybe. So how we create let's say pickup recommendations or drop recommendations when you're trying to book a ride. So that should be like obvious, right? It should be intuitive for you. Okay, this recommendation came up, and that's because like I did this trip 2 days back, or I did it a few times last week. So that's by like keeping things simple. So we don't necessarily use chapeau lime like techniques to make the models explainable. But for now, at least, it's keeping things simple. That's what like works for us, at least for now. And privacy is the other aspect. So we use a lot of data. We have a lot of data about like, okay, where people go, as well as like what do they eat, what do they order like from grocery stores. So making sure that data, when it comes to how we like feed that onto big data, is there should be like guarantee that privacy is not compromised. So we, as a first step, we minimize the amount of data we capture. So if we don't need PII, we don't use it. We don't ask for it from you in the first place. And then pseudonymizing data, making sure it's only like IDs that are like fed into the models. So there's no residue of PII that actually like can be later leaking out. So those are like some of the measures we take in order to like prevent privacy. So I mean, all in all, it's more about creating a trust relationship with the passengers of ours, drivers of ours, as well as like merchants. So making sure like we do the right thing. So one of our like core values is also we do the right thing always. So we try to stick by it.
So I believe any organizations, data-driven organizations right now, they more focus on transparency, the ethical AI, explainable AI. Those are some of the top hot topics these days, because if you don't have these foundations properly, ultimately there will be a lot of chaos, a lot of negative impact for the customers. So from the customers, yeah. So I just want to remind you, there's a QR code you can see in the screen. So if you have any questions to us, would like to ask, you can just scan it and post it, because we have the few more minutes. We can use that minute for the raised questions to the panelists. So moving into the compliance aspects, I would like to ask from Sameera. So what frameworks do you have in place to monitor and mitigate biases and in AI algorithms?
So AI bias, the concept is when you try to get some output, it always only gives you not only one view type kind of idea. I remember when the initial iPhone facial recognition came out somewhere around 2015 or 16, somewhere around that time. There was a huge discussion where it's not working for Asian and the Chinese region. I can't remember whether some explanation was given, but the idea around it was that the models were trained only using certain set of data. It was not intentional, but the data that used to train that model was not comprehensive enough. So the AI bias mainly can be from data based on what the data it been used. At the same time, yes, even how the model has been written or developed, that can cause bias also. And there's another aspect which is somewhat new, which is linked to ethical AI. When we are trying to develop ethical AI, we use something called guardrails, where we try to not to give out a wrong idea from the AI. Like, for example, let's say some kind of chat model which interact with the system. I'm asking, what is my password, right? He might say, okay, I can't give you the password, right? So those kind of things is using these guardrails. So AI bias can happen in because of any of these three things: the data, or how it's been developed, and also because of these guardrails that has been put in place. So in order to handle that, if you take the data part, you have to make sure that your data is comprehensive enough so that the bias will not be there. And depending on the requirement, if you can structure your data in a way, just because you want your AI model not to be biased, if you try to put up a huge set of data and train your system, it's not going to work. Right? So you have to find the right amount, right size of data you need to input. At the same time, it should not develop this AI bias output. And of course, intentionally, I don't think anyone will create an AI algorithm which is have AI bias. So that, of course, comes from the architecture and the development point of view. And the third part I want to highlight is putting out these guardrails. So you have to be very careful when you implementing these guardrails. Like unintentionally, you develop guardrails in the, your intentions is good, but you might end up creating a bias AI. So my personal view would be to reduce or mitigate this AI biases. The two components you will have to think about is the data that you use to train that and these guardrails that you will put in place.
That's quite important to set the guardrails, because I'm sure when we do the designing of search chatbots, because if you ask the Sameera mentions, what's your password? The bot answers with give the answer, then there's a big issue. There can be some ethical related questions also. So it's quite important, and that's something every designer, even from the UAT, those basic stuff have to be clearly addressed. So
another comment I like to make on that, when I'm talking about guardrails, yes, it's something we implement in the system, but I mentioned that whoever using the AI models, has to be responsible enough to use it responsibly. So when we talk about guardrails, I would say there are two kinds: one that you implement in the system, and the one that you put it yourself, right? If you are a software developer, making sure you will not use any openly available models and put whatever the code outside. If you have a internally built system, products, not to put out features or product names, company names outside. And if you are a company who's using any kind of personal identification data, making sure this data you don't put outside. And when it comes to using this data also, how you can remove certain kind of personal identification data in your, in the data you have is also crucial. They have certain concepts like data minimizing, anonymization. So those kind of things are important to consider, especially if you are developing certain kind of AI models and plugging into already existing systems. Because if you take something like a HR system, have a lot of personal data, and after about few years you only develop your AI model to do some kind of, validation or something. Then personal data can go out. So in this kind of things, you will have to be careful to introduce this kind of anonymization or these kind of concepts.
Okay. So now the final questions to you, Nisal. So now ultimately when we transforming insights or the AI, when we transferring information into the strategic advantage, what strategies that you all use to increase the data accuracy and consistency? Because that's one of the parameters to have a kind of a sustainable model for a business. So what are the strategies that you all take?
Right. If we take business intelligence as an example, you know that it's there's a famous saying, it's all about garbage in, garbage out. So if your data is not at a good quality, you won't be able to get a more accurate results or accurate insights and take business decisions, right? So with AI, it's nothing different, much of difference, because AI doesn't make your bad data better, right? It's only a way of it's leading to you can easily find to a wrong decisions with the bad data, right? So I think if you take data warehouse, so enterprise data warehouse or data lake will be the keystone for the business analytics foundation. So that implementation, I don't see much of a difference even with the AI, because that should be there. So but we can use AI to do enhance our work, like data profiling, finding the data issues and all. We can do it faster with the AI. So once we place the data lake or data mesh or data warehouse in place, so then we can use AI to do the insight generation and the serving that to the end user. So for example, so you know that KPIs measures are being used for generate the insights into the customer. So those things we can predefine, we can develop in advance, and we can teach those insights into the AI model. Then AI model will do the rest of the part and working as mainly the presentation layer, because early days we used to do a lot of reports and dashboard development with the business intelligence solutions. Now that part is taken over by the chatbots. So now the users are more comfortable to ask relevant questions and get the insights quickly, rather having these dashboards and all. So only different I see in terms of the analytics delivery is so AI or the chatbots taken over that presentation layer, but rest of it is the same. So we need to have a good level of good foundation of the data or enterprise data platform, like we call a single source of truth. So maybe you can you have multiple data sources, multiple systems in your organization. So you need to first build that foundation or data warehouse. Then on top of that, we can build the AI.
Yeah. Thanks, Nisal. So actually there are a couple of questions I received, so I'll try to pick up few. I think one of the questions, the hot topic these days is the agentic AI, right? So one of the questions I received from the audience: how does agentic AI architecture change the game of AI adaptations? Who would like to take the questions?
I guess like in the last few years, like agents were more like bots. So you build a bot, then you plug AI into it. So with the frameworks that are like coming out now, and like some of them are like very mature right now also. So building an agent itself with agency, so it's a bot with agency. So it's just like become very simple. So some of the like things we are trying out now. So just on engineering side itself, we have a sizable site reliability engineering team that monitors the system. So we've been able to like build an agent that actually does it, not as well as a human right now, but yeah, does some of the like basics right within a matter of weeks. So it's not that hard. Like I mean, all the cloud vendors have their own agentic AI frameworks, which you can just like put together an agent with a little bit of training within days, of course, but to get it to do something useful, like it's a matter of weeks. So it's become like quite simple.
Yeah. And one more questions I pick up, what kind of strategies do your organization use to estimate or forecast the cost estimate for AI model with cost for token usage and vector searches. Who would like to take Sameera?
Eranda, can you tell
Yeah.
the
So what kind of strategies do your organization use to estimate the cost or forecast for the token usage, the AI search, that area?
I don't have a direct answer, but when coming up with the cost estimations, okay, can put it this way. Now we developed this model. It's a HR bot where a person who can come into the HR department and ask, questions. It can be either about HR policies, how am I taking leave, or what is my leave availability, I have this problem, I need some clarification, all these like general HR questions. So what we did is we created this LLM, basically a small chatbot, where you can ask these questions, and based on the knowledge base that has been trained to the system, it will answer. And if you need to put an inquiry, it will go to the back end, and there's a separate ticketing system. The ticket will be logged automatically, and then the person will come, actual person might look at it. So that's the system we did. Now, when we did the costing for that, we sort of like guessed. We had an interview with the HR department, and they said, okay, we are getting roughly about this much of inquiries per day, per month, like that. And based on this, we decided, okay, I'll just take a random number. The bot will have 10 inquiries per day, just a random number. So if I get if the system get 10 inquiries per day, what will be the text or the word count that we need to calculate? So we just, based on certain questions that person might ask, the answer that has been given, we sort of like got a rough idea. Okay, it will be, question might be, again I'm taking just random numbers, the question might be about let's say 20 words, and the answer might be about 30 words. So the entire one question and one response, it's about 50 words, right? So if there are 10 queries like that per day, we are looking at about 500 words. So based on that, how many tokens we would need to run this for, let's say, for a year? That was the calculation we did. So to be honest, I don't have a strategy specific one that I can tell right now. But that's what we did.
Simple calculations you all can use, yeah. Okay, so I hope we had very good the informative sessions. So we talk about the basics points on the how to set up the analytics and how the AI and Agile might be relevant for the organizations. And they talk about how what's the leadership is quite important for the organizations to drive the AI and the transformations aspects. And then we talk about few aspects, the technical stuff, the agentic AI, even how to set up the guardrail, and what are the steps that you should consider, ethical factors during our conversations. So to conclude the discussions, I'll request our three gentlemen to, within 2 words, just to pass the message to the audience, why AI is important and why the Agile is important when it comes to the deployment. So over to you, starting from Sameera. Yeah.
So we discuss about how the mindset should change, and we discuss about ethical AI, how we are going to manage the infrastructure. As a final comment, what I can tell is there are, as IT companies or development companies, there will be a risk in adapting AI. There's always going to be that, because if you try to be, I have this process, I'm going through this process, I don't think you can adapt AI effectively staying in that rigid process flow. You have to have that, it will all be a little bit of risk. There's always a risk. I can give one example. It's a video available in YouTube. Last year, there's this interview where OpenAI CEO has gone to India, and there was this conference, and one of the audience questions was, what is the possibility of AI model similar to OpenAI coming up from India? Actually, that video came up after the release of DeepSeek. His response was, you can try. So there were a lot of comments, and it was interpreted in different ways. But the idea is, it's something that he did not expect to come out of India. But of course, the DeepSeek didn't come from India. But the idea is, there's always a risk in developing AI and adapting AI. But you have to be able to take that risk and take that chance.
Yeah.
Because if you didn't take that chance, you are risking a lot. Yeah. Whereas if you take that risk might be less compared to the risk of losing big.
Yeah. Sure.
So, I mean, it's like any foundational technology, right? So right now there's a lot of things happening, a lot of people putting out all sorts of new stuff in terms of AI. But it's all about finding the fit for purpose. So don't ever forget that. LLMs are not going to solve all your problems. So make sure you do the right evaluation and come to the right conclusions where cost matters, the ethics matters, all aspects that you typically consider in technology development matters. So, but that doesn't mean you should just wait for stuff to happen. You should always be there with whatever that's going on, that's state of the art in this domain. But make sure you have the right balance. Do things that have enough maturity, but stay abreast of what's going on at the front of the crest.
Yeah. Nisal?
My last comment is, my suggestion is use AI as much as possible, because we are in an AI era of AI. So you can use AI in professional manner and even personally, even for your career growth. Even you can ask AI to give you a plan for your development, right? So try to adapt to AI and use AI much as possible. Then I think you won't be fallback, and you'll be in a good position in your professional wise and even your entire life. Thanks.
Yeah. So I'm sure the in summary conclusions. So I believe you all learned something from our discussion. So the AI and Agile both are going in hand. And if you try to get the maximum out from the AI solutions, use the the Agile technology, because that laid the basic foundations when it comes to the executions. So thank you very much again. So thank you the panelists, because you all give the wonderful the insights for the audience. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Eranda. Thank you very much, Eranda, for your expertly guiding today's discussion. And also your thoughtful questions truly made this session engaging and insightful for us. Thank you very much again. Now I would like to invite Suharshini and Jayani from the organizing committee to come on stage and present the tokens to our distinguished panelists and the moderator. Please give a big round of applause to our panelists.